The Kremlin, the mighty fortress at the heart of Moscow, is the ultimate symbol of absolute power. But when Vladimir Putin first strode up this red carpet almost 8 years ago, it capped a meteoric rise from political obscurity.
When it was announced that Vladimir Putin is Russia's new prime minister, most people say, Vladimir who?
Back then, Yevgeny Kiselyov was Russia's leading television news anchor at the major news network NTV. And this is how NTV's satirical puppet show Kukli introduced Putin. Yanked out of obscurity to run Russia by an ailing President Boris Yeltsin, who was incapacitated by illness and alcohol. But once Putin took over, Kukli's days were numbered. The man behind the puppets was Viktor Shenderovich.
You can't be an authoritarian leader if people on television are pointing the finger at you and laughing.
Like in this episode called Groundhog Day. A dazed Putin keeps waking up to the same news bulletins, announcing his plans to end corruption and the Chechen war. But nothing ever changes. But in reality, Putin would soon change everything. Like coverage of the disastrous Chechen war, Russia's Vietnam. Under Boris Yeltsin, NTV reporters were fiercely independent. But Putin kept NTV and other Russian media outlets far from the action.
When Yeltsin left office and Putin came in, NTV immediately came under attack, which was probably the first political campaign that was launched by Putin as president of Russia.
Shenderovich says NTV staffers were given an ultimatum: surrender your independence or your television station.
The three demands were: change the critical coverage of the Chechen war, stop telling people about corruption in the Kremlin, and lastly, remove the face of number one from Kukli. When I heard this, I saw it as a creative challenge to write an episode about Putin without Putin.
He came up with an episode lifted straight from the Bible, but it couldn't have been more irreverent.
I just finished talking to him.
Putin was the burning bush, the invisible God laying down the law.
The 10 commandments were: love your president, don't kill anyone except a Chechen, don't steal anything except federal property, and so on. So we revealed their ultimatum and made fun of it, and that was the last straw.
The last straw, special police forces stormed NTV's parent company, looking, they said, for proof of financial crimes. Next, Gazprom, the state energy giant, bought out NTV. And that was the end of Yevgeny Kiselyov and his independent news team. What upset Putin so much about your channel, your programs?
In my opinion, Vladimir Putin is a typical control freak. He is obsessive about controlling everything. I think that as a former intelligence officer, he thinks that if you do not control something,
that something will control you.
That something will control you.
Before Kiselyov was forced out, he and his team of journalists had a final meeting with President Putin inside the Kremlin.
He said that responsible media should support the president and the government and blah, 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 like that for 3 hours. He similarly did not understand us. It was not a conversation, it was a bitter argument, and Putin did not like that. And he started to talk to us as if we were his enemies.
The masses want a Tsar, and this is no joke. 8 years ago we did it as satire, but now it's reality. In countries where you can't make fun of its leaders, like North Korea or Stalin's Russia, people live poorly, and eventually some of them don't live at all.